Welcome to Wednesday's class. Nice and snowy here today. Kids were just outside playing, but of course they're in here now playing soccer in the basement. So if you hear any banging around, it's just a soccer ball. There you go. All right, so we'll give it a minute. We don't need any special equipment today, no bands or anything. It is just our dumbbells, but we will use just the chair or the bench just for our leg extension exercise. So just something to sit on. It doesn't have to be a bench. That's the only thing special today. Yeah, the kids love. We have an unfinished basement. This is in the basement, but there's the other part that's unfinished that the kids just love running around, jumping around out there. So, like I said, if you hear any bangs, it's just a soccer ball and basketball or some kind of sport. All right, it's a minute after, so let's get going. All right, so we'll get into our usual stretches. So feet are hip distance apart, toes pointing straight forward. Reach down, up, tip, tip, and twist. All right, come a little bit wide with the feet. Toes are still straight forward. Same reaches. Always the same reaches, just switching up the foot positions. All the way narrow here now. Okay, come back to hip distance apart, but then externally rotate your toes. Knees push out over your toes as you go down. Okay, toe in. Perfect. All right, so we're going to start as we did last Wednesday or Friday, whatever, the push day last week, with our goblet squat. So the one where you're holding a weight up underneath your chin. You can probably go with your heavy weight here if you feel comfortable. You're holding it kind of resting in your palms like that, all the way in against your chest. All right, so then feet are kind of whatever you find comfortable here, but for most people a little bit wider than shoulder width. And then squat down, push your butt back, stand up tall. The main thing here is to keep your heels on the floor. That's what you're pushing through. Don't let your weight kind of shift forward into the toes or balls of your feet. Through the heels. And 12. All right, so then we're going for our Arnold presses. So it's the one where your palms are in towards your face, okay, in nice and close to your chin to start. And then you press up over your head. As you press up, you rotate your palms out and then rotate them back in by the time you get down. And 12. Whew. All right, switching up to my lighter weights for this next exercise. We did it a couple weeks ago. There were the tray pushes. So you keep your elbows bent at a 90-degree angle, and then so this is the starting position, and then you just push your hands forward and then bring them back in, okay? So push out and in. Try to keep your shoulders down, away from your ears. Don't need very much weight on this one. These are 5s, and this is pretty much max weight, I would say. first circuit. So take a quick breather. All right, back to goblet squat. Actually, I'm going to take a minute here first. So if you find it hard to sit back into your heels when you're going down for a squat, find like a little, a piece of 2x4 or something like that. You don't want it very high, so you'll have it like the flat side. It'll only be 2 inches high off the floor. A piece of wood, something like that, textbook, something that's just a couple inches. Put it underneath your heels, so then your body weight's going to come down into your heels a little bit quicker because they're elevated a little bit. Okay, let me see if I can find something around to show you the third set. But anyway, so push down through your heels, sit back, stand up tall. And 12. All right, get both dumbbells for your Arnold press, that rotating shoulder press. Okay, so palms are inward to start. Rotate out, push up, and back down. And 12. Okay, moving right into our tray pushes. So start with that 90-degree bend in your elbow. Shoulders back and down. Push it out. Bring it in. When you bring it in, try to squeeze your shoulder blades together and really focus on keeping them down. Shoulders down as you push out. Whew. All right. Take a little break. I did scan the room for something I can put underneath my heels. So something like this would work, two plates, or if you have just one long piece of wood. Like I said, you don't want it to be too high, maybe like 2 inches most. All right, and you can kind of use this setup for any time here. Let me see if I... Okay, sorry, I was getting like the heels a little bit more. Keep getting that poor connection symbol coming up. I hope the video is not too bad. I don't know if it's the weather, if that affects it. I don't know. All right, so that's your goblet squat. All right, so going for our Arnold presses here, last time. Rotate out as you push up, bring it back down. All right, so we have our last set of our tray pushes, okay? So think like you're holding a tray. That's how they got its name. So you're holding a tray out in front. You're just gonna push that tray forward, bring it back. And 12. Whew. All right, so that is it for those. All right, take your little break. Like I said, you do need a chair or bench or something, anything at all just to sit on. For the next group. Get your breath for just a second. And we're going to do our leg extensions that we've been doing the last couple weeks. So sit up nice and tall. And then, so beginner version, you'll just touch down, touch your foot down in between every repetition. More advanced, you'll just keep the leg up the entire time, kicking in and out. You can have your hands here, but don't hold your leg up, okay? Hands go anywhere that feels comfortable, really. Okay, switching to the other side. And 12. All right, and then instead of our jump squats today, we're going to do a jump lunge. So basically you stand with one foot in front of the other. If you were just doing your squats in the previous routines and not jumping, you can still do the same here. You're just doing your static lunge. Think about bringing your back knee towards the floor, okay? Or if you're doing a jump lunge, you literally just give it a little tiny hop. Make sure you're dropping that back knee. Front heel is landing and staying down as you push up. Okay, 12, and then we got to switch sides, unfortunately. Place is hard. Woo, 12. All right, I am going to lay down on my bench just because it's there, but if you don't have a bench, you can just lay down on your floor. And we're going to go for skull crushers and flies. So choose your weight accordingly. We're going to go back to back. All right, I'm going to go skull crusher first. So that's laying down on your back, elbows nice and high, then back towards your ears and extend up. And 12. All right, moving right into the flies. So it's the same setup. Palms are facing inward, but then you're going to come out like a big hug motion and squeeze back together. Big hug and squeeze. Elbows stay slightly bent and not locked straight. And little breather. Come on up. All right, so going back to our leg extensions. So sit up nice and tall. Abs and core are activated here to sit up nice and tall. You can have your hands wherever you want, as long as you're not holding up that leg. Kick out. And 12. Okay, switching to the other side. All right, got our jump lunges. Here we go. So make sure that back knee goes down towards the floor. Just a little hop. Okay, same thing on the other side. All right, back to laying down, either if you have a bench or on the floor, makes no difference. All right, get comfortable on your back, grab your weights, back towards the ears. Okay, so that upper arm should stay nice and vertical as you do this. All the movements coming from your elbow. All right, and then the flies. Big hug out to the side. And 12. Perfect. All right, a little breather, and we got one more round of those. All right, here we go. Sit up nice and tall. Lift that leg and kick. Eleven, 12. Okay, other side. All right, my favorite here, jump lunge. Here we go. All right, again, it's not about how high you're getting on this, it's more about cushioning the landing. Okay, getting a little bit of impact is so good for our bones. 11, 12. Whew, jumping gets the heart rate up too. All right, last of these skull crushers. Here we go. And 12. All right, flies. And 12. All right, that is it for those. So take your little break. We are going to do our core exercises standing today. Take a quick breather. Don't need any equipment for the first one. All right, so we're going to do those posterior reaches, overhead reaches. We've done them a few times. Those ones where you think about pushing your hips forward. That's the main part. So you feel a stretch right here. So your abs kind of kick in, and then throw the hands back. Don't do a lower back bend. So it's not this, it's this. Okay? If you feel a pinch in your lower back or even mid-back, you're not pushing your hips out far enough. All right, so then we're going to go with our side bend. So one heavy dumbbell. All right, empty hand goes up by your ear. We've done these in the past, but not for a while. Tip it over. All right, other one. Perfect. All right, still holding our heavy dumbbell. You're gonna hold it sideways like this. We're gonna do a march, okay? Get the knees up nice and high. Whatever knee is up, you're twisting the dumbbell to that side. Okay, so beginners, you might wanna just do a little, you don't have to get the knees up too high. The higher you go, obviously, the more balance there is and more core work. So twist, twist. Try to keep the torso as still as you can. I mean, it's twisting, but it's not like rocking side to side like that. Okay? Perfect. All right, so that is our third circuit, first round. Take a little sip of water. going for round 2. So posterior reach, pelvic tilt, push your hips forward, reach behind you. Side bend. I couldn't remember what was next. All right, dumbbell side bend. Here we go, heavy dumbbell. All right, other side. 11, 12. All right, same dumbbell, hold it sideways, and then march and twist. Twelve. All right, so that's 2 down, 1 last round to go. I hope everybody saw the calendar I posted a couple days ago, December calendar. Looks like there shouldn't be too many changes because of the way the holidays fall. It's not on a Monday or Wednesday, so unless something personal comes up, which will be good. And also the Lethbridge meetup is this weekend. I'm trying to get it done before too much Christmas parties and all that start. Let's go to our pelvic tilts and reach. So just let me know if you're going to come for that. All right, we've got our side bends. Here we go. And 12. All right, another one. And 12. All right, here we go. Last exercise for the day. Marching with a twist. Eleven, 11, 12, 12. All right, let's get rid of those weights. We're moving into our stretches. All right, so have a seat. The legs stretched out in front of you. And just fold over. Okay, bring your feet in so bottoms of your feet touch. Knees fall open. Same thing, just nice gentle forward bend. Okay, 90-90 position, so 90-degree angles in both knees. Lean forward. Okay, switch sides. Excellent. All right, flip over to child's pose. So sit back on your heels and then walk your hands out. Okay, come up to all fours. Arch your back up like a howling cat. And drop it down. The head is always going in the opposite direction as the back. So right now my back is up, my head is down. Back is down, head is up. Excellent, all right, come into half kneel. So whatever knee is on the ground, that arm goes up and over. Okay, switch it. Good, all right. Come up from the floor, find somewhere to hold on and pull that leg up behind. Okay, switch sides. All right, and our last stretch of the day, take your hands, grab them behind you, pull your shoulders back. All right, excellent. So I'll be here Monday for our full workout, but also for our Lethbridge Locals meetup is 6 or 6:30, I can't remember, whatever I posted in the group, I think it was 6. No, I think it was 6:30. Anyways, the calendar's in the group. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.